that long day behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
Welcome to the Tavern. We'll get to the topic and discussion in just a moment. Just want to let everybody know this is an adult show with adult topics, adult humor, and in other words, we drink, we smoke, we swear, and we laugh at things we probably shouldn't, but we do it together. For those listening to the podcast, we record the podcast on our live stream at twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk and have a live interactive chat audience. You might hear the sound of the bell, and that means I want to interrupt somebody to read a question or comment. For those on the live stream, we won't read off everything you put in chat, but we'll try to get to the most relevant or the most amusing, but hopefully some combination of the both. Now, while we introduce ourselves, go ahead and let us know what your vices are tonight. And while you're putting your vices in the chat right there, what you're drinking, smoking, partaking of, hobbies, whatever you're doing right now while you're listening to the episode, I will let you know what we've got. Well, I'll let you know what I got. They get to let you know what they got. Tullamore Dew, the infamous, or possibly famous, Irish whiskey, triple distilled. Ed, do you think that has much difference? Double, triple, or single distilled? Yeah, kind of how I feel about it. It has been a hell of a week. And I'm not saying I'm going to slur, but I might not speak clearly is what I'll tell you. So, that's my vices. And also don't forget, make sure you check out some of my books. Go grab one of these books, ebook, audiobook, or paperback or hardback at Amazon.com. Just search for Travis I. Sivart. You'll find me. Andrea, what do you got tonight?
Oh, I'm sleepy. So I have peanut butter M&Ms.
Ooh.
That's why I'm sleepy. I have my tea and knitting somewhere.
You got a whole blanket on you that you knitted, though. Was that tonight?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
very quick.
Oh, yeah. She's got quick hands, folks. Just want to let you know. It's What about you, Ed? What do you got?
I've got my last little bit of Bowman Brothers.
Oh, that's good stuff, though.
I'm savoring.
Which Bowman? Well, no, wait.
It's just the Bowman Brothers. Yeah.
Okay. It's. I tell you what, guys. If you have a chance to check out any of the Bowman Brothers products, it's been good stuff across the board, right, Ed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We haven't found any we've had a problem with.
No, the Abraham was the best, but gosh, that is so hard to find.
And then there's a time Andrea paid like $35 for a single drink at a place she went out to lunch for. Yeah. Which one was that, Andrea? Do you remember? Okay. Well, welcome to the tavern here. And as we mentioned, we do have a live chat going on. So I don't see where anybody has thrown up their vices. Like I said, it's been a long week. I'm probably dropping words here. See, Maria says $35 for a single drink. What was in it? Real gold. They do have that. It's Goldschlager. It's kind of nasty. It's sickly sweet. Oof.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you like that sort of thing, it's awesome. If you don't like that sort of thing, ugh. Kennedy has a Manhattan. Nice.
Cool.
And I know Maria has her puppy sleeping in a nest next to her. And this next question actually comes from Maria, because we're gonna answer questions from viewers and listeners right now. Give some advice, give some opinions, give some thoughts, give some mocking commentary. Maria asked, "Would you go to space if given the chance?" Ed.
I assume when she says go to space, she means just one of these, like all the rich motherfuckers are doing.
Right.
Get shot up, come back down. Ooh, I went to space. No,
No?
no.
Why?
There's better things to waste money on.
Well, what if you're not paying for it?
There's better things they could give me that money to waste it on.
Okay. Andrea?
I get motion sickness on the merry-go-round. No, but thanks.
Yeah, as for me, I abso-fucking-lutely would go to space. It's one more experience that I can have. And it's not even like, look, I did something you didn't. It's just, I get to go experience that thing. So I'm absolutely going to go. If I get sick, I assume they have, little vomit pouches, barf bags, pukey pouches. That's what I should have said. Puke pouches. Barf bags, vomit. Yeah, absolutely. Now, long term. What about long term? Like go live on Mars and not come back.
I don't know. I don't know. There's something about that I must admit is appealing to me, but I like just being able to go outdoors and smell the fresh air and so forth and so on. I wouldn't be able to do that on Mars. Wouldn't be smart to do that on Mars at least. So I don't know. There is something about the exploration of it all that is appealing to me, but I don't know.
It's interesting. You'd be like, I don't want to go just up in the orbit for 3 minutes, come back down. But like, go to Mars? I got to think about that.
Because you're seeing actually a whole planet of something different to see and experience versus just one little ride up in outer space. Okay, give me that money and I can experience a whole bunch of things down here on Earth that I've never experienced before.
Right. Maria? I have called Andrea Maria. I'm so sorry. Andrea?
It depends. Have other people gone there? Is it set up for someone to stay long term? Or is it like the movie The Martian with Matt Damon? Because, no.
See, this one, I would just say no across the board.
Oh.
No.
I don't want to go long term and not. There's so much for me to do here and explore here and learn here and experience here. I don't want to go to another planet where, especially if it's not terraformed, where there's breathable atmosphere and
that would be my biggest problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, as cool as it would be for a temporary visit for a year or two, well, maybe we could talk about that. Because what is it, an 8 or 9 month trip just to get any of our current technology from here to there and then coming back again? And they have nothing coming back at this point.
Yep. No.
So
I thought it was years to get there.
Anybody know off the top of their head? Or are we looking, how long does it take to travel from here to Mars?
I'm pretty sure it was months. I watched the Ian Musk Mars mission thing that he had on Netflix. It was actually pretty good. It was very entertaining and educational. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
What was it called?
Mission Mars, I want to say.
Okay.
Let me look it up real quick.
Well, here's something other folks, while he's looking that up, might not realize. If we're launching something towards another planet, there is certain windows to launch it where they are closest to us in orbit. And if you launch at the wrong time, it is a hell of a lot longer to get there because it's on the other goddamn side of the sun. Couple comments here in the chat. Kennedy says, but know that the inspiration for a mission went further than any trip except for fixing Hubble and the moonshot. It wasn't just a hop to space, but 360 miles up. Maria says, a home and transfer between Earth and Mars takes around 259 days, between 8 and 9 months.
Okay.
Is only possible approximately every 2 years due to the different orbits around the sun and of Earth and Mars, which is what we're talking about. So, yes, Maria, you're a pro at Google. Your Google foo is strong. So I think they beat you on the Google there, Ed.
And the Mars program that they had on Netflix is gone.
Oh, no. Is it somewhere else?
Yeah. I don't
Um,
know.
Andrea?
if it's what I'm thinking of, it's they have a disc and it may be in my wish list. It's a Mars thing. But I think I know what you're talking about.
Was it Disney's Mission to Mars? I've been on that ride.
No, no, it was done in the form of a documentary
Yeah.
as if it has actually taken place and has happened. And Ian Musk appears in a great deal of it, and it was very good.
There is actually a program going on right now where you can apply with NASA to do a simulated Mars environment in the sense that you're stuck in the little domes that they're creating, the
In the
little
dome,
environments that
yeah.
they're creating. And it sounds very interesting, but it's like only 6 people, and of course you got to be all the things. Um,
And they watch everything. Nah.
See, Maria says, "Oh, that ride! I went on the green version. Was still almost reaching for the puke bag. Yeah, I went on the biggest, baddest, and frankly, it's Disney World. It was no issue at all. There's nothing Disney will throw at the general public that I can't handle. Other theme parks with other roller coasters and simulators, not so much. There's some stuff where I'm like, my spine is broken."
Roller coasters are okay, but that merry-go-round will fuck you up.
Okay, so let's jump to another question here. This is, we don't name names on these because they didn't necessarily let us know that it was cool. So, Dear Tavern, this is an interesting question, Ed. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Dear Tavern, I won a modest amount of money in the lottery, and my friends and family have started asking me for money. It's not a whole lot, and not enough to share much. How should I handle it?
Move
To Mars?
if you have to.
Now, they don't say how much they won. I'm guessing, well under $1 million. It's
Modest amount, not enough to really share, and they're bugging the hell out of you. Move.
it makes me curious. Anybody know off the top of their head? And I'm guessing it's a U.S. lottery, United States lottery. So, how much is, if somebody wanted to pay off their debt, how much is the average American debt to pay off your house, car, credit cards, etc.? What? 300, 400, 500,000? Am I under?
I don't know house and cars, but I did read a recent article where the average 30 something today has over $60,000 in unsecured debt.
What's the difference between secured and unsecured debt?
Credit cards.
Okay.
That's unsecured.
Wow.
If it's a house or a car, that's secured debt. But
wow.
in the article that I read, they were saying that is the reason why a lot of 30 somethings are still living at home with mom and dad versus buying their own place because they simply can't afford it with that amount of unsecured debt.
And Maria says, Google says 90K. Gary says, tell them it's your money and stand your ground. And Kennedy says, with student loans, it's a lot. I'm guessing even 90K is low if somebody owns a house. Because again, this person didn't give us any details. They're not telling us if they own a house or whatever. But your average house, not a nice house, average house, 250,000, 400,000.
Easy.
What are we looking at?
250 easy, 400,000 depending on location, but 250 easy where I live. And hell, that's a shack.
Andrea?
Yeah, like I said, it depends on where you're at. But also, everybody's going to college. Everybody. Before it wasn't just select people that could afford it. Now they're everybody. So a lot of people are in so much student loan debt. So I think that amount's higher.
Here's a fun fact. Apparently, Walmart, Amazon, and other large companies now will pay for up to a bachelor's degree if you're working.
Wow.
And like 100% of it. So interesting. Maria
Yeah,
says,
now.
without converting to USD, around here, by the way, for any viewers or listeners, Maria is Canadian. Around here, it's 200 to 300K, but my friend in the city was looking at close to 1 million. See, and I feel like, first of all, if you're smart, you're going to pay off your debts. And some financial advisor would be like, oh, don't pay off your house. You need these loans because they help your credit score. Okay, shut up. Fuck you. I get it. I understand what you're saying logically, but you know what? If shit goes down tomorrow, have your house paid off. And Kennedy, who, by the way, not to give away Kennedy's locale, but New York-ish, Jersey, whatever, Connecticut, that area, the tri-state area there. Yeah, my house where the ex lives went for just under 400,000 20 years ago, and it's a small 3-bedroom cape. So right now, that's $1 million house or more, 1.2, 1.3 million. Okay, so whatever it is, whatever their spectrum is here of their financial things, a modest amount of money in the lottery, friends and family have started asking me for money. It's not a whole lot and not much to share. How should I handle it? Ed says move. Andrea.
I say it doesn't matter how much you got. If it's your money to do what you want with it, they need to leave you the fuck alone. If they were around before the money, maybe you would find a way to help them a little bit. So it just depends on the situation. But you shouldn't have to handle it. It's just bullshit.
If you come into money, my thoughts on this, if you come into money, whether it's inheritance, lottery, working hard, whatever, first and foremost, it's your money. Don't fucking tell people, except your very close friends. Like, you know, your spouse or Ed. What, Andrea?
I said if you want to. You don't
Right.
have to do
No.
that.
There's no
lottery
obligation.
winners are public knowledge. That's
They
the problem.
are, and you can go on with a mask and tell them not. Yeah, but yeah, they're depending on the
They don't
state.
have to share it.
No, they don't. Yeah, and Maria says, I'm with Andrea, 100%. Everyone wants to be your friend once you can foot the bill. Those people need to be shooed out the door. Look, take your friends or family to dinner. Do a group cruise if you want to share the wealth and show your appreciation for those people that have supported you. But to hand out money, I mean, I get it if you put your kid through college. Make sure your elderly parents are taken care of in their old age. But when you're looking at people that you've known 5 years or 50 years, or your siblings or whatever, it is not your job to support them. It is not your job to hand them a handout. Now, if you got the huge Powerball, 3.2 billion or whatever it was, I don't know, 1 point, whatever the huge one was, which even when you walk away with that, splitting with other winners, I mean, what are you looking at? 300 million, 700 million, whatever it is, you're not obligated. And if you're having an issue fixing it in your head, that's on you.
Yeah, the only thing you're obligated that you have to do is pay the fucking taxes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Here's the thing, truly, with me. If I have money, no matter how modest it is, if I have money, my friends and family have money.
Right.
When I don't have money, my friends and family don't have money. And and if you don't have money when I have money, you're not a friend, okay? So don't ask.
Yeah. And if I don't treat you to dinner or whatever I have, whether it's $10 or $100,000, if I don't treat you normally, I ain't going to give you shit otherwise.
Right.
Thing is, you shouldn't ask. If they win and they want to give it to you, they'll give it to you. Don't ask.
That is actually a great way to flip this, Andrea. If you know somebody that got money, stop talking money to them.
Right.
Don't tell them, I'm behind on my electric. I can't afford my car payment. I want a new thing from Amazon. No. respect them because it's instinctually that person is going to think, oh, they're asking if I can help. And you don't want to, if it's a true friendship and you care about them, you don't want them to ever think that you're going, hint, 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 I need some stuff. Couple comments here, by the way. Kennedy says estimate is $570,000. Property 60 times 100. I don't know what that means. But also says, I wonder how much that person would give the lottery winner if it was the other way around. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's something
I'm
to
sure
look
you
at.
wouldn't want people asking. You wouldn't want people asking you or being like, gimme, because you got. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me make this clear right now. Ed, because I've been in tough points, and Ed's like, I got dinner. I can cover that for you. Whatever. Ed has come out and like thrown money on the table to, oh, gotcha. Thank you, Kennedy.
Okay.
You know, so for Ed, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, I won the lottery. You good? You need something? You know,
I need
and
dinner.
yeah, exactly.
Dinner.
Let's fucking buy you some goddamn dinner. On the other hand, if it's 100,000, yeah, Ed's getting dinner and I'm paying some bills. If it's 100 million, Ed's house is paid off. You know, and then he could
Did
fucking
you play the lottery this weekend, man?
No, I didn't. The machine wasn't working when I was in the grocery store, but you did it online, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
I won a modest amount of money on the lottery today.
Did you?
Ooh.
$4.
Can I have 72 cents?
No.
How about 69?
Hey, how you doing? If you do a 69 right, there is no sense involved. Kennedy says, my kids have been reluctant to ask me for money. And by the way, that's a beautiful thing, Kennedy. Kennedy also likes your bats there, Andrea.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Maria says, so what we're saying is that Travis needs to buy some lotto tickets for Ed. Or for myself and just share with Ed. Maria won $500 once. I have won $1,000 on a scratch off once. And I went to the state capitol, cashed it, went home, deposited it, and paid a bill.
Yep.
When I come into large sums of money, I'm like, let me throw it at my fucking debt.
Yeah.
Of course,
I won $4 and I took my kid to lunch.
Not with $4, you didn't.
No, that was the tip.
Now, Maria says, my father refuses to take my money and it drives me insane. Here's what I'll tell you, Maria. You buy him other stuff. You show appreciation in other ways. You buy him, if he drinks, that nice bottle of liquor. You buy him that really... It's like a cricket that just made a noise from the room I'm in. You buy him that really cool pair of socks that keeps his feet warm, whatever. You show your appreciation in other ways besides cold cash. Because he can't turn away a gift bag, but he can turn away cash. Maria says, oh, I have to sneak it in there. Where did this come from? I don't know, Dad. It's magic. And good for you for doing that. But yeah, like I said, you can also put it in other ways.
You can also get quarters and just fling them into the butt crack. Whatever sticks he gets to keep.
We discussed that on a previous episode. Don't forget, you can also drop gift cards. And it could be something really broad spectrum, like Walmart or Amazon or whatever big box store you have local. Drop a fucking $50 gift card and mail it to him, even if he lives in the same house. Not leaves. That was my father. My bad. I was projecting. Lives in the same house as you. So
you can also do it to the, gift cards to the grocery store. People usually won't turn that down.
That's true. Because they're going to buy food for you also. Okay. Wow, we ran long on that 2 questions there. So, any other thoughts on that? summarize that. First of all, don't tell them. Second of all, if you do tell them, it's your money. Guilt is in your own head. And
Yeah.
if they're pushing guilt on you, fucking abandon that person. Oh, this is a tough question here. And this question, there's one word in there that I feel like could be spread out to other people. But the question is, as it's worded, Dear Tavern, how do I impart the wisdom of my hard-learned life lessons to my teenager without them ignoring me? But I think that teenager could be pushed to so much more than just your own spawn. Andrea, you just crossed your arms and made a face.
I'm just waiting my turn.
It's your turn. Go.
Your turn.
Okay, so here's the thing. You could tell them all you want. They're not going to listen. They need to experience it for themselves to truly understand. Would you have listened? Did you follow advice when people said the same thing to you? Or did you learn from experiencing it? Just saying.
That's reasonable. Ed?
Wow. I lean toward agreeing with her. But, which means everything I just said before that was bullshit. Growing up in a generation where you do as I say and not as I have done or I do, uh, I want to believe in that part of it because my parents did instill some lessons on me that I did as they said. And now that I've gotten older and I've read my parents' diaries, I realize, damn, they were motherfucking hypocrites.
So both your parents kept diaries?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Oh, there's a lost art.
No, now it's called Instagram and Facebook.
You gotta stalk their social media from 20 years ago.
To answer the question directly, I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
In my experience, kind of echoing what Andrea already said, there are certain things people will listen to you and they'll take your advice if you feel like an expert to them. Financial thoughts, where to go to get a credit card, how to find the best cheeseburger. There are other things people have to learn on their own. It's kind of like understanding what an orgasm is when you've never had one. You could explain it. They can logically understand it, but they don't actually understand it. Or being in love. It's something most people have to experience before they realize, oh, now I get it.
Now I get it.
And the same thing for giving advice to your kid. On the other hand, throwing advice at your kid's head or anybody left and right going, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, is going to make them pull away more. You have to wait till they're struggling and they're like, I don't know what to do. And even then, it's only 30% likely they're going to fucking listen to you in your life experience before they... And Maria says, I agree with Andrea, but it also depends on the person you're speaking to. I tend to bring the approach, quote, I know you're not going to listen to me, which, by the way, automatically makes them do the opposite. But I need you to hear these words and understand where I'm coming from.
I like that.
So it's in the back of your mind. But, end quote, by the way, but I have a very open relationship with the kid, and we help each other grow and understand things when we're stumped. That's something else that can add value to your advice to others. Do you listen to their shit? Because if you shut your kid down like they can't tell you anything that you don't already know, why the hell are they going to listen to you? because you've already told them their opinion, experience, and advice isn't worth shit. So why are they going to put value on what you say if you shut them down?
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy says, I find that my daughter listens to my best friend more than she listens to me. I sometimes ask him to give her advice, but she does call me for advice a lot. That is actually a very good way to do it. If you have a friend of the family, a sibling, whatever, that your kid goes to, you can feed your teenager advice through somebody else. So what else we got on this, guys? How do you give advice when somebody doesn't want it? That's the basis of this question.
Basically, don't.
You have to make it interesting enough for them to want to listen.
Well, that's interesting.
Uh,
What I
I'm
found,
listening.
Ed, though? What, Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
You said that's interesting. I said, I'm listening.
There we go. A lot of times when you give an example, a parable, a story that contains the lesson, most people don't pull that lesson that you're wanting to convey out of that. So when you're like, oh, there was this one time that this old lady was beating a dog. Yeah, they don't hear what the point of it is. They hear old lady beating a dog or whatever. Maria says if it's something that needs to be addressed, I find repetition helps as well. Like you're correcting someone's problematic behavior. That's actually a fair point. This is a part of human psychology. You can convince people of something that didn't happen or of your point of view just by pounding it into their head through repetition. Politicians do this a lot. I shouldn't say politicians. Political viewpoints do this a lot. How about that? You say it loud enough, often enough.
And it's got to be true.
Yeah. Now, that, in my opinion, is not the best way to create problem solvers and thinkers. That's the way you create fucking sheep. And if you want your kid to be a sheep and just follow you and do what you do, sure, you can use that approach. But that's created countless generations of angry people who don't even know why they're angry.
Silence.
I know. Next question, or we got more? Well, here's a fun question. And by the way, this next question was sent in all caps. Fun fact. Dear Tavern, all caps, I have a short fuse temper. How do I control that? Before we answer that, Maria had one more comment. My example is my father uses very dated terms, or at least he used to until I realized he wasn't trying to be a horrible person. He legit had no idea what he was doing was wrong and needed a little reminder when he was acting poorly. Are you saying you're giving your father advice and hoping he'll listen to you, Maria? Okay, so Andrea? I thought you raised your hand. I don't know what you're doing over there. She's unmuting. Hold on, folks. No, she's not unmuting. She's just making faces. So, Ed, I have a short fuse temper. How do I control that?
Well, you listen, asshole. You wrote in the question that you have a fucking short fuse temper. So you know. Knowing is half the fucking battle. So fix that shit.
Andrea, thoughts on this? And Andrea, I know you have dealt with more than one person with a short fuse temper.
No, this is why I'm not around them, so I have no advice. I would just leave. You know you have this problem, you fix it. I can't fix it. I can't tell you how to fix it.
That's
There you
actually a great point right there. Nobody can fix your temper except you. And once, as Ed said, once you realize it, you know there's a fucking problem. So it's your job to work on it. Kennedy says, I have a temper. Sometimes it's the outcome of stress. But I was once told we only really get angry at things or people we can't control. And sometimes we have to accept we can't control those
You
things.
can't control, yeah.
I found a lot of people use a temper to throw you off of criticizing them or commenting on them or disagreeing with them. If they come at you loud enough and angry enough, people shy away and leave them alone. So they use that temper as that wall
What
between.
are you trying to say?
Nothing, dear.
See, it works.
And Maria throws the thought out. I know it's not available for everyone, but if it's within your means, therapy. I went to anger therapy for years. It works. It's true. Maria no longer punches me every time I talk. Of course, I had her deported back to Canada, so she can't. So that helped too. Yeah. First of all, you're already saying you know you have a problem. So you know you have something to work on. Not every time, says Maria. And you don't control it, you modify it. You realize I've had friends with like insta temper, like 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. And you train yourself to do that. You train yourself to amp up and react huge.
Yeah.
And you can also train yourself to wind it back down. But you have to first and foremost recognize what you're doing and then want to change it. And probably if anybody's been in AA, this is a similar process to Alcoholics Anonymous. I slur over my whiskey. Wait, hold on, wait. Maria says, or get a job in retail that you need to pay the bills so you can't get yourself fired. You'll get over your anger real quick when you're dealing with the crazies. Maria, I knew somebody who worked at McDonald's, and during a kids' party, because the kids were, this is back when McDonald's had like before the play areas, they had a separate room for like birthday parties and shit. And this person who I knew got so angry at the kids being loud and noisy as they were sweeping up a mess the kids had dumped on the floor. They took the broom they were sweeping with, violently slapped the handle against the table, and screamed at the kid, "Shut the fuck up." Yeah.
Bad day?
What's that?
Bad day?
Something. Talk about a traumatic birthday party. That birthday kid is probably still paying for therapy. But yeah, therapy at that point. But realizing, like anything, you got an issue. And you can get support from others. But, Andrea?
What?
You unmuted. I thought you want to say something.
You were in the middle of something. Go ahead.
Okay. You got to work on your own problems. The people around you can support you and give advice and everything, but you're the one that has to do the bulk of the work, the hard work, and that is working with yourself.
Yeah.
And changing what triggers you to ramp up so quick, and learn how to deconstruct that ramp so you don't go up that path. Andrea, you got something?
Sure. Final thought. My final thought. If you don't want to fix it, it's not going to happen. If the person doesn't want to fix it, there's nothing anybody can do.
That's true. That's true. Just saying you want to fix it, that's not enough.
Mm-mm.
One of the things I've done to myself in life, having taken defensive classes, a lot of defensive classes are 3 steps back to get yourself from the confrontational situation. And when I find myself getting angry and about to lose control, I do a mental 3 steps back. Take 3 steps back from the situation and think about it a little bit, and then reapproach it.
And by the way, the old advice of count to 10 slowly, that's a 3 steps back situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ed, are you talking about like take a deep breath, or are you talking about like psychologically, mentally go back 3 steps? What led up to this?
Yep. Go back 3 steps to what led up to that. Okay. And any of those 3 steps I could have done differently to not get here. Then let's apply that now.
Is that something you do in the moment or later when you're reflecting on it? Or
in the moment. In the moment. Because if I don't, I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah, diffuse the situation and put it on yourself. Grab that self-responsibility for your own actions. And you can't say, they made me mad. No, they did something. You decided to be mad. You chose to go that. You ramped it up in your own head. And by the way, short fuse tempers are terrifying to other people. Okay, it's Maria says that's actually really helpful if you can get into the habit of it. And Kennedy ever so wisely says, when a woman gets angry, always suggest it's related to that time of the month. And make him the beneficiary of your life insurance before you do. And actually, let me flip that and say, if a man gets angry, just automatically suggest it's his time of the month. Tell him he's menstruating. He'll either be amused or confused, and it will delay him long enough that you can get out of the room. No, that's probably bad advice. Yes, self-responsibility is something we pound down on a lot here in the tavern, and yeah. Okay, one final question, wrap this show up. We got about 15 minutes. You guys ready? Dear Tavern. Okay, what? Huh?
Ready.
Okay. Dear Tavern. My other half never seems to care what my day was like, even though I listen to theirs. And when I offer advice on their day, they act like they didn't want my input. What can I do? Need me to repeat the question? Andrea, what do you think?
Maybe they just want you to listen. Don't offer advice unless asked. Sometimes people just need to get it out. And if they're not asking about your day, stop asking about theirs, and then maybe they'll think.
Yeah, you got some thoughts?
Okay. As a person sitting here that's on marriage number 3, all right, this comes in that marriage advice thing, okay, which I'm not very good at this point in my life because I'm on marriage number 3.
Well, actually,
I don't have time.
How long have you been married now?
15 years.
You're fucking doing okay, man. You got it right on the 3rd try, okay?
I got it right on the 3rd try, but I had a great big sign that I put on my cube at work, and she worked with me that said damaged. And when there was when we started dating, there was a series of questions she had to answer first. Okay. and so, my other half never seems to care about what my day is like. Okay? Ain't got time for that bullshit right now. Fucking get a divorce and get it over with.
I agree. Now, I agree with both of you, actually. Yeah, if it's a once in a while thing, if it's a this is happening today and it's upsetting me, I agree with Andrea. Maybe they are just so worked up with whatever's going on with them, they need to vent. And okay. But on the other hand, if this is every day for an extended period of time, and I don't mean a month or 2, I mean years. Though then again, maybe 3 months is enough time to go, they don't fucking care. I'm a trophy right here. And they just want somebody to go, you're okay. Maria says sometimes people just need to bitch. If it's something that happens often, ask first, are we going to rant to bitch about the issue, or are we looking at how to solve it?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and some people, this is their release. They just like to vent. They just like to complain. We've all known complainers. Not to the level of Karens out there. So sorry to people who are actually named Karen. But, yeah, now this is a multi-part question. So if they never seem to care, maybe you're blocking out when they actually do care, or maybe if they don't actually care, you're in a bad relationship.
Right.
And just because you listen to theirs, if you're so busy listening, maybe you never actually let them know, hey, I want a chance to talk too.
Well, maybe, they could be feeling, when is it my turn?
Right. And there needs to be a point where you tell the other person, I want my turn.
Yeah, I got to have my turn today.
That's a communication thing. It's very important. And there's also, Andrea, I've done this to you. When you used to work at certain retail jobs, I'd be like, you got 20 minutes to bitch about your job, and then you have to stop. For my sake and for your own goddamn sake, because it's not healthy. You're just reliving this and recreating that stress in your own head, and it's not healthy. By the way, Andrea does not do that with her current job. It's incredible. She comes home and fucking won't shut up about how great her job is. Which is a great problem to deal with.
You gotta stop because my fucking job sucks.
I can live vicariously through her happiness in that case. Now, hold on. Let me check Maria's comment here. I do it with my friend all the time, and it lets us know where we're going with the conversation. It's probably why we've been friends since elementary school. Or because coloring together is fun, Maria. Andrea agrees with that. So
I color.
And when I offer advice on their day, they act like they didn't want my input. This goes back to what Andrea originally said. Sometimes people want to vent without having a solution. Right. They don't want you to fix their fucking problems. Most people, most of the time, don't want that. And there are points in time where I will look at people and friends, whoever, and go, are you venting or do you want input on this?
Mm-hmm.
And probably 60% of the time they say, I want input, they're lying. They're being polite. They don't actually fucking want input. Going back to the previous question with the teenager, how do you get them to listen to you? Most people don't want your fucking advice. They want you to know that they're trodden on and everything's horrible and everybody's against them.
Yeah, I think it gets irritating to the listener when the individual is venting about something and you offered some advice.
Right.
The next week they're venting about not the same thing, but it's the same issue, maybe with another person, and you're like, just shut the fuck up. I gave you advice last week. You didn't follow it and you're in the same situation. So just shut up.
Does this flick back to the temper thing of you've got a problem that only you can solve?
Right.
Other people can support you, but nobody can fix it until you decide you want to fix it.
Sometimes if people are complaining about things and you let them go on, they just get in a downward spiral. Sometimes you have to cut them off and don't ask about it again. Mm-hmm. So all I can think of is the shows where someone's on the phone and like, and sit it down and walk away. Don't do that. That's encouraging them to keep doing whatever and amping it up. Just stop.
Andrea, before you and I started dating, and I've shown you the PDF of this thing that I'm about to talk about, I read this thing about dating and relationships And it was basically how to get laid by your date. But this person who wrote it was actually very intelligent, and they're like, you need to decide what you want. If you want a long-term relationship, there's different ways to behave. And if you go in there and you're like, why am I in the friend zone? Well, if you walk into somebody you're interested with and you're like, just let me listen, just tell me all your problems, you're setting yourself up for that type of interaction every single time.
Yep.
Now, you can let them vent, but at some point in time, you have to go, stop. That's done. We need to do something else. And there's behaviors that trigger long-term relationship versus friend zone versus just getting laid. And listening to people's problems is not the getting laid behavior. But I really appreciated this thing that was written out because it was more than just that, which that's never something I've been interested in. And it makes me realize that even in interactions with coworkers, if they're just going to bitch and complain and you don't want to hear it all the time, stop listening. Stop asking. Cut them off when they do that.
Had to do that before.
Right. And by the way, even with the people you love, there's times we have to do this with each other. It just comes to a point where that person, one of you two mentioned a spiral, creating that spiral. They start chasing their own tail, and eventually you chase your tail long enough, you're digging a ditch. You're entering that downward spiral. And sometimes the only way to stop that is for somebody to put their leg in front of you so you trip and they can go stop it. And then you realize, oh shit, I'm in this loop. So yeah, I guess to summarize, Ed, my other half never seems to care what my day is like, even though I listen to theirs. And when I offer advice on their day, they act like they don't want my input. What can I do? Summarize your answer for me.
Your other half, if they're treating you that way, get a fucking divorce.
Andrea?
Yeah, if that's not how you want to be treated anymore, change it.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. And it's hard. And that change can be, as Ed said, get a divorce, walk out, get your own place. And that's a whole nother topic where people are like, I can't leave. No, you always can leave. It's just not necessarily the option you want to choose because of the repercussions. And some of the times that could be communication. Absolutely, Crow. There was one of our viewers who goes by various screen names, but the last part is always Mouse. One said a relationship should not be about compromise. It should be about collaboration.
Yep.
And I have adored that, and I've mentioned it a few times since then. Communication is key to every relationship, but collaborate. And if one is only talking and not listening, by the way, that might be the other person's fault because they allowed that behavior to continue for too long.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's also that first person's fault too for never taking time to show interest in their other half. If you're go ahead, Ed.
It's a terrible codependent relationship is what that is.
Yeah. And as much as I love codependency, not if you can't be your own person, though. Okay, we got a couple minutes left. Any closing thoughts on any of these topics or any tangents either of you want to run around on? Yes or no?
Just
Nod
wants
or
to sleep.
What?
She just wants to sleep.
He's very sleepy.
Don't expect other people to fix your problems. You have to be the one to take initiative.
It really feels like a reoccurring Tavern theme, doesn't it? Own your
I
shit.
think we said that a lot here.
Yeah. And don't abuse the people that are there for you. Realize their value, whether it's the lottery, the temper, the not listening, whatever it is. Mind you, going to space really doesn't relate to that, but whatever. Okay, I want to say a quick thank you to Kennedy and Gary and Maria and everybody else who threw their 2 cents in on these topics. God damn, what?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It might not have been a fun, goofy show like we sometimes do, but it was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to play the outro stuff here, and we're going to get out of here. And join us on the next podcast or live stream, whatever you joined us on, or the other one. And try it the other way. And do me a favor, if you're listening to the podcast or not, remember I put that stuff up on social media. Share it. Let other people know we're out here. We're doing this thing. Let's spread the word here. Let's get some more friends into the tavern on either side of that equation here. You guys have a great night. Here's the outro, and we will catch you again soon.
Before we go, I want to remind everyone that you can email us at talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com to let us know your thoughts on the show's topic, suggest another topic that you'd like to hear us discuss, or just have us read a message out on air to someone in your life. Thanks for supporting the show by downloading the podcast, sharing it on social media, grabbing some shirt stickers and mugs from bit.ly/tavern merch, or barware patches and hats from bit.ly/tavern merch too. That's bit.ly/tavern merch or tavern merch and the number 2. Thanks to everyone who joined us live at twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk, and everyone who supports the tavern by subscribing, hosting, throwing bits, raids, and most of all, commenting. Thanks for joining us in the discussion shenanigans tonight. You are the one thing that makes the show what it is. Don't forget to join us at the tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day and steamy dreams every night.
Yay.
Woo-hoo.